All right, this is our return to True Wrestling fans. I want to thank everybody for being patient. We're back. We're not going to be at full capacity, full-time schedule. We're
Not
gonna,
yet.
but
Not yet.
overtime. But we're gonna be releasing. We're gonna try to release at least one episode a week if we can. So just bear with us as we relaunch. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank, and real quick, I want to thank everybody for their support over the time while we were gone. It meant a lot to us, and that's one of the reasons why we're back
Right.
doing this today. So let's kick it off. Let's
All
go.
right. Today's episode it's gonna be about Hulk Hogan, and it's dedicated to Hogan, and everyone knows. Hey, listen, before I get
Oh
started on
boy.
this, I just want to say, listen, Hogan is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. He's still the Ruth of wrestling. I don't think
Yes,
we'd
definitely.
have modern day wrestling if it wasn't for Hogan.
Mhm.
But he's known to,
Ad-libbed a little too much.
yeah, exaggerate or tell a fib or two. And we just want to go through a list. We thought it'd be a fun episode to get,
Why not?
as we relaunch the channel. So this is going to be Hulk Hogan, the Immortal Liar. All right.
I like that.
We can our first fib is that Hogan said he was the first one to slam Andre the Giant, which we know is not true because there's the footage is there of multiple people slamming Andre prior to him, and
Yes.
he also said that Andre was 700 pounds when he slammed him at WrestleMania 3, and
No,
there's no way that he was anything close
I
to
would say
700.
525. I
He
think that's
probably it
what
was
the
probably in the
weigh-in was.
500 somewhere. I don't know, but that sounds about right.
Yeah.
But 700 plus, there's no way. I don't think Hogan was gonna be able to get him up, if he was 700 pounds. And he also said that what did he say? He tore his biceps and his back or something, and that when he slammed them, that's why he couldn't get him up all the way. And he had to have surgery, but he put it off, and he never got the surgery, so he wrestled his whole career with that injury. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying
That
it.
doesn't work for me, brother.
No, no. So moving on to number two. Hogan also claimed that he was offered a spot on the band Metallica, that Lars offered him a spot, wanted him to join. I don't know why it didn't work out. We know,
Bro,
yeah,
I
yeah,
need hip boots for all the bullshit that's coming up
yeah.
around here, man.
We know Hogan was part of a band. He can play guitar. I've seen him.
Yes.
But
Metallica?
as far as them asking him to join Metallica, I don't think so. There's also another variation of the story where later on they asked him after Metallica was already formed, or that he submitted an audition tape or something like that, like much later on. There's a
I thought
couple
I
of
heard one about Led Zeppelin or something like that.
maybe the Metallica one is the most famous one. I mean, it's
Yeah.
possible that there were more bands that
Or
um,
stuff that he came up with in his
yeah.
head.
So yeah. So all right. The next one is that supposedly the UFC in its early days wanted him to be a part of the UFC. The
All
owners
right, that's it. We're
offered
done.
him offered him a
No.
spot in the UFC, which the original owners have denied this. They said that never happened, ever. So, I mean,
I mean, what are we talking here?
like
1996?
early, yeah, around probably mid to early 90s,
Yeah.
supposedly.
I
I'm
don't
not,
I don't know.
I'm not
By
buying it.
by then he's already in his 40s. I mean, there's no
There's
way
no
that
way. No, no, no,
even if this is remotely true, there's no way he'd survive in the octagon. No way.
no. I don't believe it. Um, Another lie was that Undertaker injured him at what was the Survivor Series 1991. That when he tombstoned him,
On the
he
chair.
injured.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
I've heard this one.
Yeah, it's a famous story that Hogan was in the locker room, like he couldn't move. He was lying down on the floor next to Vince, and he was telling Vince, call Linda, which was his wife at the time, call Linda. And Undertaker thought he initially had heard him, and he felt really bad. But when he went back and he watched the video, and you can see the footage, Hogan's head was nowhere near the steel chair, the mat, or anything. And Undertaker held him tight to make sure he protected him and had him up
Mhm.
high. When Undertaker confronted him, he said, "Oh, that you held me so tight that my neck jammed, like it couldn't move naturally, and I jammed." So he tried to change the story from that he hit the chair to that he held him too tight. He protected him too much.
No, whatever.
So there's also another infamous story where Hogan said because he was traveling back and forth to Japan, doing all of those dates in Japan and the United States, that he wrestled 400 times in 1 year. 400 days because when you travel overseas the days change depending on what country you're going to, but it's impossible, it is impossible
unless he's talking about dates, meaning the card itself. Because remember, back then they also house shows. They would
Yeah,
fight two times on a
yeah,
Sunday.
right. That's not what he said though. He said
No,
days.
yeah, days.
He said
Last I checked, there were 365 days in a
right.
year. Um, again, if he's referring to it, which I don't, he's not.
Right, right. The
Um,
dates is possible. Yeah.
yeah, the multiple times where they would have a house
A
show in
matches, I mean.
Indianapolis in the afternoon,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then in the evening time they would be in Chicago doing a
Yeah,
house
that was
show.
common. That was common back
Yeah.
then.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
So
if he's referring to actual days, oh boy,
yeah. I'm not buying it.
nope.
Moving on. He also said that him and Vince McMahon wrote the script to No Holds Barred. Now, considering how bad the movie was, it's
That was on the
possible.
documentary.
Right.
That's where I heard that from.
It's
I was
it's
like, yeah.
it's possible. However, I mean, there's people who have actually writing credits on the movie. So what I
I mean, it was
suspect,
bad enough that they could have.
right, theoretically, what I suspect was that they probably threw out some ideas, and then because Hogan changed his story, so it's possible maybe he threw out some ideas like, oh, we should do this spot in the movie, and that turned into him writing the movie, right?
Yeah, because he had
So
a say in one of the.
yeah,
It's funny during the documentary when they said that they show the scene where he's holding the guy. He goes, "What's that smell,
yeah, yeah. I think Vince
Dookie?"
wrote that.
He probably wrote that.
I think
Yes,
Vince wrote that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
probably the funniest line in the movie.
right, because Vince has that toilet humor, so it's possible
No, no pun intended.
he wrote that scene. He also claimed, and I think this was on a MTV show or something like that. He claimed that he wrestled Andre the Giant, right? And he still has the boots when he wrestled him, and that Andre died a few days later. So that's not
What?
that's not possible because
He was retired already. He was done. He was after he
right,
made that last appearance on the Clash of Champions.
right,
That's it. He retired to his farm.
right,
He was
right.
done.
Hogan did not wrestle him in because he passed away in 93, I think he passed away.
Yes.
Could be 93. Hogan didn't wrestle him that year, so there's no way that
No.
he
He
claims
was he was done in 1990, 91, maybe the beginning.
yeah.
Because what he was voted worst tag team, him and what was it, Giant Baba in 1990 over
Oh,
in
they had that
Japan.
match in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, and at that point it
Yeah.
was over. I mean,
Hmm.
they did want him to come back. Allegedly, WrestleMania 7, we heard the
Hmm.
rumor where it was supposed to be Undertaker and Andre that
Right,
they
right,
wanted to do a work there, but Andre couldn't wrestle anymore.
right. But
It was
Hogan
over. So I don't know where
didn't.
maybe on a video game he wrestled him, but
Yeah, that's
not.
the more likely. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
It's possible that maybe, yeah, that's what he's referring to, and he somehow he
I hope he
I
is
don't know.
because I
I
don't
don't
know,
know.
man.
No, moving on.
Yes,
Because
please.
we're here all day.
Oh boy.
Hogan also said that at WrestleMania 6, when Warrior beat him, his idea was to turn heel.
I heard this
He
one
was gonna
too.
turn around, he was gonna clothesline, and then he was gonna be known as Triple H, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, at WrestleMania 6.
The while he was out that year when his son Nick was born, he had they showed a photo. I've seen it. I
With the
don't
beard.
remember. Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, it would have worked, but Vince was like, "Nah, I don't see it."
But I don't believe that Hogan
I think he could have
he
turned
pitched it.
heel,
No, he couldn't. But of course he could have. But
but pitching
do
that
you
whole
believe that he pitched that to turn?
even if he did, and let's say they did it,
No.
they ruined the entire night.
It would have ruined. No, it would have ruined the whole night.
It takes the spotlight off of Warrior,
but
and
not
of course puts it back on him, and it ruins the whole
but
thing.
not only that. The reason why I also don't believe that is because remember how resistant he was to turning heel in WCW, because he's like, no, I'm
Yeah.
a hero. It's gonna ruin my merchandising sales. The kids are not gonna buy my
But
T-shirts.
meanwhile, by 1991, they're booing him
Right. So
way
so
before Sid eliminated him in the
yeah.
Rumble. They're
So
booing him because they're tired.
Pritchard. I mean,
they're done.
not that I trust Bruce Pritchard because I really don't. But he said that's a complete fabrication, that wasn't going to happen. You take that.
I believe it.
That's one liar versus another liar. But me personally, I don't believe it.
I
So
don't think Vince would have gambled and taken the chance back then. Even if Hogan did pitch the idea, Vince
no,
would
but I don't
have
believe
been here.
Hogan. I just don't believe the point of it is that I believe Hogan's lying. Like I not that's But he also claims that he was the one that brought Undertaker in. That he saw him on the set of Suburban Commando, and that He's the one that brought him in, which is not it is not true because he was God, I don't even know where to begin with this guy. Because Suburban Commando
He,
was filmed in I think sometime in 1990. Um,
yeah, while he was
you know,
away, when they
on the
did the
t
whole
on the t
earthquake thing.
it came out in 91. I mean, Taker joined in 90.
Mhm.
That's not the story that Undertaker has told. That's not the story that Vince has told. Paul Heyman, like none of these guys tell this story that Hulk Hogan is
We've
the one.
never heard it until we
No,
heard it
no,
at
no, no.
supposedly from him, but
So
no, I'm not buying it.
I don't think so.
Nope.
He also claimed that he outdrank
Oh boy.
the late John Belushi. Um, the problem is when the time that he said that this happened, Belushi unfortunately had already passed away.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Well, yeah.
uh,
If you outdrank a dead man, good
yeah,
luck.
yeah,
I he's got
yeah,
a wild
yeah,
imagination up
yeah.
in there.
And these aren't even all of them. These are the ones that I'm pretty sure he's lying. There were other stuff that I'm like, well, I can't confirm that he actually said this. Um, so I'm just going off of stuff that I know that he said, but there's more. Um,
Wow, sure.
he also claimed that during that whole thing in the infamous SummerSlam 1991 incident where the Warrior was threatening to no-show,
Mhm.
that he was gonna beat up Warrior, that
I've heard this one,
he told
but
Iron
yeah,
Sheik to break his leg or something to that effect. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I've heard that, and I'm not buying it either. It Now the whole story of once Warrior got back there after the infamous chasing him with a chair. Supposedly, according to Jake, that Vince looked at him and said, "You have the most,
Yeah. Well, he's
unfortunate luck," and he fired supposedly the Ultimate
yeah,
Warrior at that
that's
point.
he's another liar. Um,
They're all liars.
yeah, but well, they're always working.
Jake's one of the worst.
The problem with Hogan is that he's known to always be working. Like you never know what the truth is and if he's just trying to work, like he's shooting an angle or something. So nobody really knows with him. Um, there was also another. There was an episode of Arsenio Hall where they showed Hogan like and Mike Tyson face to face. He claims that Tyson was scared to wrestle him like in a shoot or something to that effect. Hogan that Mike Tyson was scared of him. I don't.
Back then,
Yeah,
oh, Tyson would have destroyed him.
yeah. Hogan did play not minor league baseball. I'm sorry, like little league baseball. Apparently, he was pretty good. He also claims that the Yankees wanted to sign him and the Reds wanted to sign him too.
Sure, he's
But
not talking about Savage
Savage
because
actually was signed by
yeah, the
a minor league.
Cardinals.
Yeah, minor league.
Yeah,
It's
he could have made it. He was a damn
um
good ball player.
yeah. No, he was legit. He was legit. I think he got hurt.
But
I didn't he get
Hogan,
injured or
yeah.
something.
Mhm.
He also claimed that he wrote Mr. Nanny and Santa with Muscles.
That's
Again,
not. I wouldn't take credit for that.
considering how bad, I mean, it's possible, but he doesn't have any writing credits on those movies, so there's no
But
way.
but still, I wouldn't take credit for that.
Yeah.
At least say you wrote, Batman with Michael Keaton or something.
Well,
Try, be totally out there. But you taking credit for writing crap?
yeah.
Come on,
Well,
you're hurting yourself.
I guess because maybe somebody would believe him because he was actually in the movie. I guess that might be his thinking. I don't know. He also said that it was his idea for the NWO and that the original members was himself, the Booty Man, and the Nasty Boys.
This is
Um,
nice considering at the 0 hour he still
yeah,
wasn't sold on the product
yeah.
until he found out that Sting was going to be the third man.
He's and yeah, now that we're on the NWO, he's told different versions of the story that he's the one that pitched to Eric Bischoff about being the third man, but Bischoff said that's not true. He had to convince him.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
At the last minute, he finally
yeah.
agreed to it.
Right. But Hogan's version is that or one of Hogan's versions is that he is the one who told him, "No, I'm the third." I don't
He's like Kevin Nash. You never hear the same story twice.
know. No. No.
It's always different.
There's always some sort of discrepancy.
Hmm.
Um he says that Harley Race set a WWF ring on fire and then he shook Hogan's hand and he had a gun in his hand. And this happened in Kansas City because he was looking for a job. So he set the ring on fire. And then Vince McMahon gave him a job after he set the ring on fire. Now,
That's a hell of a way to get an interview.
the gun story I have heard of that Harley Race did when Harley Race was known as a lunatic that
Yeah.
he may have like shown him a gun like insinuating that he was going to do something to scare him. I don't know. him setting a ring on fire, I don't believe that. We would have heard about that. That we would have heard that
Yes,
story.
it would have been all over the
If
place.
he set a ring on fire, and why would if you're trying to get a job, why would you set a ring on fire?
Exactly.
So I don't believe that. He also said that he sat next to Kerry Von Erich on a flight to Japan 72 hours before Kerry Von Erich committed suicide. Now, that didn't happen because Kerry Von Erich was not flying to Japan right before he passed away, and Hogan
and
wasn't.
he
Hogan,
wasn't in the WWF at the time.
yeah, yeah. So that probably did not happen. I think that Hogan. I think what happens
I
is that.
think we would have seen that in the movie, by the way.
Well, I
If
haven't
that,
watched
if
the movie. I
it,
heard it's excellent, but I haven't.
oh, it's a very good movie.
I need.
I
I need to.
recommend it.
I need to watch Iron Claw. But I think what happens with Hogan is that like he can't separate like fantasy from reality,
If he
and I
tells
think that
himself it enough times, then
right,
he
right.
must think it's true.
He starts to believe it. He also said that Fujinami tried to shoot on him and take the title from him. And that Hogan beat him just in a straight up shoot wrestling match. I mean, they have wrestled obviously. I don't know if that's true that this guy would try to shoot on. I'm pretty sure if Fujinami shot on him, the Hogan wouldn't be able to do
Was
anything.
this when they were doing the Super Show '93
I don't
or
remember exactly.
early '90s? I think.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that Fujinami probably would have if he wanted to win, he would have. So
Hmm.
I don't think that Hogan, I'm bound by it. He said that he brought Simon Cowell to the United States. You know, Simon Cowell from American Idol, famous producer. He produced
Yeah,
Spice Girls amongst other acts. Simon Cowell did work on the WWF album that came out in '93.
yeah.
Um, Hogan's not on that album. I don't remember him being on that album at all.
No, he's not.
And he definitely didn't bring Simon Cowell to the United States. And he also says Simon Cowell worked on those albums that came out in the '80s, Pile Driver, and I forget the other album. He didn't work on those albums. So I don't know where this alternate reality is coming from, where he worked on albums that not only did he work on albums that he
Oh
never worked
man,
on, that he brought Simon Cowell to the United States.
and I blame the multiverse.
No, he also Hogan has his own multiverse. It's the
Yeah,
Hoganverse. Yeah,
seriously. Yeah,
the Hoganverse. He also said that Paramount Studios and I think New Line Cinema offered him a movie deal where he was going to be the next. They wanted to make him the next John Wayne, and that Hogan turned it down because he's like, the hours are too much, and I don't, it's too much work making movies, and so I'm just gonna stay doing wrestling. It had nothing to do with the fact that all of his movies were bombing.
seriously.
That he chose to basically remain in wrestling. Although he did have Thunder in Paradise, which was a TV show, but um,
Yeah,
I
but
I
I
don't
think they
think,
also had a brief movie too, or something
yeah.
along the lines. I
Well, the
think that's what
pilot,
kicked it off.
it
Yeah,
was the pilot was like a TV movie or something like that. I am not buying that Paramount Studios and New Line Cinema offered him this deal, and he's like, nah, you know what? I think I'm good. I think I'm just gonna stay here.
I don't see him as the next John Wayne or matter, next anything for that matter.
No,
No,
no, I don't see it. Um, that's
I'm
pretty
sorry,
much
but The Rock is better in Hollywood than he is. John Cena is better in Hollywood than he is, and that's not saying much.
Batista too.
Yeah.
Batista too. Well, that's pretty much the list.
Oh
There were
God.
more lies, but I just those I really couldn't because I'll give you an
Well,
example. I'll give you a bonus. This is
how about it took 40 years for him to admit that? Oh yeah, I ratted Jesse
all
Ventura
about
out
the
about the
union.
whole union thing. Yeah, no shit,
He admitted
Sherlock. We
it
knew
though.
that
He
already.
admitted it. Like,
But it took 40
yeah.
years.
I'll give you guys a bonus one, which is I can't find the actual quote, so I don't think that it's true that he claimed that Elvis was a Hulkamaniac and Hogan and Elvis used to come watch him fight, but the wrestle. But the only problem was that Elvis was already dead. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
he passed away in
yeah,
73
yeah. The
around
only thing I was able to find is that Hogan said that Elvis was a huge wrestling fan, which is true. Um, Elvis was a wrestling fan.
there.
He used to go see the Memphis like wrestling events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Hogan said, it's a shame that he passed away before he got to see me. Like he says, I never got to meet him. That's the only thing that I saw, and that's not Hogan saying that he was a Hulkamaniac. I don't know where that other thing came from. I found no footage, I found no quote, so I don't know. But that's a famous one that's out there, but I don't think that Hogan said it. I think that it got kind of conflated. And with all of Hogan's other lies, like it's not, it took on a life of its own.
I think Elvis probably would have been a Hulkamaniac, but I think he would have been more towards Ric Flair because the Southern wrestling,
Yeah, it's possible.
with Flair being from the
Yeah,
Carolinas,
yeah,
I think he would have liked him more than Hogan, but you
yeah,
never know.
yeah. So that's pretty much our video. Guys, let us know what you think. Please write if you guys know any other Hogan lines that we missed. Please
Or
put in the comment
I,
section.
man, I didn't get to bash him as much as I wanted to.
Yeah. No, I mean we could be here all day, but this is just it. And
Seriously,
listen, Hogan is still to me, he's the biggest star this industry has. He's bigger than
he
Stone
is.
Cold. He's bigger than The Rock. He's bigger than Warrior. Bigger
He's
than
on the
Brock.
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
There's
no
no doubt. There's no.
denying
But
his everything. But
the politician that Hogan is and the liar, we gotta call it out. But for what he did to the industry, I mean, I was a Hulkamaniac. You were a Hulkamaniac too.
yes,
I think we all were. You know. But
absolutely.
but this
I
is
was upset when he left. And then I
yeah
was
yeah
upset
yeah yeah. Of course.
when he went to
Yeah
WCW
yeah
because I'm like, what this is bull. What the hell is he doing? Everybody
yeah yeah.
was.
But this is just a fun video. So um. We'll be updating you guys when we're coming back, but like we said, hopefully we can start off on one a week. We'll go from there. And thank you for tuning in.
We will catch up
Yeah,
everybody on the Monday Night
yeah,
Wars. That is my guarantee.
yeah. It's just gonna take some time.
Yeah,
All
but
right,
we'll get it going, guys.
all right. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.